All right. Some of you have notified me that Claude 2 or Claude paid version is out. So I'm going to go and actually just take a look at what it says that we would get if we purchase it. Now, I have not purchased it. I'm not really sure I'm going to purchase it. I have so many tools. I pay hundreds of dollars a month. Actually, if I actually looked at it, it's probably over $1,000 a month for reoccurring tools and so forth, right? And so like, do I really need this? So what I'm going to do is go and look at it. We'll evaluate it together, and maybe this will help us determine if it's right for you to purchase it or not. Some of you that have maybe been using Claude on a daily basis to run your entire website, creating content nonstop. I mean, we're talking about 5-10 articles a day. Leave a comment below if that's you, and if you have noticed that all of a sudden you're running into limits on that content to where it's kind of going to force you to have to pay for that. And if that's the case, then automatically, if this is a primary tool of your using, right, and you're now going to run into limit caps, right, of what you're able to do, then of course you're going to have to upgrade and pay the monthly plan. And it would make sense in that case, right, because you are getting results, you like this software and so forth, right? But is that the only reason why to get it? So if you're in your account over here, you can go over to the top right and say subscribe to Pro now, right? So I'm going to go click on that. And this is where we can start looking at I'm going to click on the Learn About Claude, and then I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so we can all read this together. So about Claude Pro usage. Does Claude Pro have any usage limits? Yes, Claude Pro offers at least 5 times the usage compared to our free service. So right off the bat, I'm going to highlight that. So this is probably going to be, from everything that I've read, this is definitely going to be the number one reason to get the tool. Now, what I'm really after and what I want to read about is the quality of content. Is it any better? Do they have different models? For example, ChatGPT 3.5 versus ChatGPT 4.0. There is a drastic difference in the quality of content, the reasoning and the logic of the AI and so forth, right? So just straight sheer ChatGPT 3.5 versus 4 wins hands down for creating blog content and for just all kinds of different stuff. And it's very much like, I've used it since it's come out. I've been a subscriber to ChatGPT Plus. That's a $20 monthly plan as well. And I've been since the month, like the day it came out, I subscribed, and that was a long time ago, months and months ago. I think it's been over 6 months. And I'm a happy paid customer. It doesn't even cross my mind to cancel that, and so forth, right? So what I'm after at is there a clear reason and a clear difference in the quality of content that you can get from Claude Pro versus just the regular free version of Claude, right? So keep that in mind as we continue to read about this, right? So right off the bat, you do get 5 times more usage, right? So that is going to, what it tells me is that you're probably not going to be able to log into Claude and use it the entire day and not have to pay for it, right? You're going to have to tap in and pay the $20 for this so you can get the 5 times more. So that might be reason enough if you're a power user. Okay. So it says the number of messages you can send will vary based on the length of message, including the length of files you attach, the length of current conversation. We will provide a warning before you have 10 messages remaining, and your message limit will reset every 8 hours. Practically, what do these limits mean? Okay, so I'm going to highlight this real quick. We'll read this. If your conversations are relatively short, approximately 200 English sentences, assuming your sentences are around 15 to 20 words, you can expect to send at least 100 messages every 8 hours, often more depending on Claude's current capacity. So often more depending on, so this is dependent on the Claude's capacity that day, right? So it's going to change a lot. Over 2/3 of all conversations on Claude AI as of September 2023 have been within this length. So the limits, if your conversations are relatively short, approximately 200 You can expect, now, does this mean you can expect to send 100 messages every 8 hours? And that's in Pro. I'm saying that that's probably in Pro. So you'd have to actually take this. So this is probably, this gives you the number right here. They give it to you. So on the free version, they're only going to give you about 20 messages every 8 hours. And so that basically kind of gives you your answer. And then also, I believe the amount of input that you put and the amount that you can attach, like the amount of information that you can feed Claude, because Claude is big on, you have to, it doesn't go live. It doesn't have, integrations and plugins like ChatGPT 4 that can go and scrape content and summarize YouTube videos and do all those things. You have to provide the document or provide the text, right? And so with that said, I believe that Plus, or the Pro version, also will accept a lot more information in order to inside of your messages, if that makes sense, right? So that would be maybe another reason to pick it up. Your limit gets used up faster with longer conversations, notably with large attachments. For example, if you upload a copy of The Great Gatsby, that's a full book, right? You may only be able to send 20 messages in that conversation within 8 hours. As each time you send a message, Claude rereads the entire conversation, including any large attachments. So what that sort of means to me is that if we came back in here, top 10 YouTube money strategies, if I click on this, something that I did a long time ago, right? And I wanted to, say, give me another YouTube strategy to make money that has not been mentioned above, and push enter, right? Claude has to go back and read all of this text. Now imagine if you had The Great Gatsby right here, or you had a lot, like 10 times the amount in this conversation. You can come back in here, but the more I do this within the next 8 hours, the more I'm going to have limits, right? And so eventually, once this string right here gets really large, you would then get to the point where you wouldn't be able to use this string anymore on the free plan, because every time you come back in here and do this, it has to read this entire content, if that makes sense, right? So I'm just trying to point out the advantages of picking this up, and then we'll talk about what I think maybe the disadvantages are, or maybe what is not needed. So here's an additional YouTube monetization strategy, live streaming, right? So we didn't have live streaming up here. So this is really cool, right? So if you were using this and live streaming isn't mentioned, then this could be like your next blog post, or this could be your next idea for a YouTube video, right? And then you would just say another one, right? Until you kind of exhaust the list. So it's pretty cool actually, but we'll come back over here. So hopefully that part makes sense, guys. So why have these limits? A model as capable of Claude 2 takes a lot of powerful computers to run, especially when responding to large document attachments and long conversations. We set these limits to ensure Claude can be available to many people to try for free, while allowing power users to integrate Claude into their daily workflow. So I'm going to pause right there and just say that they just literally just told you right here why the limits have been set. There needs to be they have millions of people coming to the site. One of you pointed out that I can't use SimilarWeb anymore, right? Because it's not accurate. It says 26 million, but let's just go. Leave a comment below. What is the best way to, the only way you can actually check traffic is Google Search Console or Google Analytics, and only the site owners are going to be able to have that data. But do you guys know of any accurate, because Ahrefs usually underperforms, what is an accurate tool? I'm thinking that maybe Ubersuggest is actually pretty good. I think it estimates on the low end, to be honest. When I log into this and I use this with my websites, it usually is a little bit low by maybe a couple hundred or so. So maybe this one is a easier traffic estimator, but I have to log in, so that's kind of annoying. I like just being able to click on something. But we're going to go and just see if Ubersuggest has information on this, just so we can see. So yeah, it's saying 64,000 visits in August. And compared to, if we go and grab this one, ChatGPT, it has 15 million. So I just don't think, there's just no way that Claude's only getting 64,000. So there really isn't a good way. So let's actually do this for fun. 15,000 visits, Uber Suggest in August. And then we come over here and look at this and it says 1.4 billion in SimilarWeb. So you guys, there's not really a way to actually measure traffic. So, I mean, it's not really like somebody commented and said, you know, they kind of asked me why I was using SimilarWeb and they said, actually, the actual traffic's only like 500. Well, where are you getting the 500 from there, guy, right? Because there is no accurate tool to measure other people's traffic. Right here, we have a difference of 1.4 billion and then Uber Suggest shows 15.4 million. So it's not even close. It's not even like 1%. That's reporting about maybe, I would say that's about 7%. So because 15 million is 15% of a billion. But then it's 1.5 billion over here, right? This is 1.5 billion. So you would take 15% and you would divide that by 2. So you're looking at Uber Suggest reports 7% of the traffic, and then this is inflated up to 1.4 billion. So I hope you guys are with me. I'm definitely going off on a tangent right here. And I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't really care if I'm using SimilarWeb. It's just, it is what it is, right? We know that they're getting a lot of traffic. Let's just put it that way. And we know that there's growth going on the site, right? And what that means, the reason why I kind of went off on a tangent and I'm explaining this is that at some point, a tool of this magnitude getting millions upon millions upon millions of people and customers, that requires a massive bandwidth and server and database. And it is actually hard to fathom how many supercomputers and internet capacity and all that kind of tech stuff in the background. It's hard to even fathom the size of a warehouse that they have to use in order to do this, to host all of those servers and so forth, right? So not to get too techie into this, but at some point they already knew it's a plan from the get-go that like once we hit a certain cap, we have enough interest, obviously millions upon millions, maybe even over a billion. We know we have the interest and we have the customer base. Now we need to reward those that want to be power users, and we don't want the site to slow down for those people because they're paying for the tool. I mean, it's a brilliant business idea and it's a brilliant way to do this. Bring everybody on, let people fall in love with the tool. I mean, I've ranked articles as well with this. And then the people that are serious about using the tool, they're going to go ahead and pay. They're going to pay you for it, right? And so that's what this really is, right? And so the free users, if you don't ever want to, I think that it's really going to matter if you're a free user and you're kind of trying to use it quite a bit a day, and you start running into like, oh, I can't use the tool. It's it's locking me out, or it's back in ChatGPT's early days where you couldn't log in because it would give you a warning. Too many people are logged in. If that happens to you and you're just like, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore, I'm going to go ahead and just pay. It's going to make you pay for the tool, right? So that's the biggest win, I think, is that just you're going to be able to log in, you're going to be able to use the tool, and you're not going to have to worry about anything getting less of something. And that's kind of the way what my mind works. And so that is probably the number one reason to upgrade the tool. But let's keep cruising, guys. The Claude limits are based on the total length of your conversation combined with the number of messages. So they've worked all that out. In order to get the most value out of Claude Pro, start a new conversation via the AI icon in the top left corner. When you want to discuss a new topic, Claude needs to reread the entire conversation, just like I was alluding to earlier, every time you send a message. So starting a new conversation will limit the amount of work Claude needs to do. Claude will also respond faster to shorter conversations. So they kind of encourage you to start new conversations. So if you have a really nice like process flow and a prompt and everything to create new articles, that's probably going to work really well. But there's going to be times where you're going to want to go back to that string and use it again, like I mentioned in this example right over here. And I'm trying to look over here. Do they have a search feature? Like I don't really see a way to search for your past strings right over here. You might be able to by just doing a control find. I'm not sure, but that would be kind of cool if they put a little search bar over here too, or if you could come in here and save your favorites once you have hundreds in here or something like that. That'd be really, really cool. And then let's see, we have ask multiple questions at once. So especially if you're if you're asking Claude questions about a long document, because Claude needs to reread the conversation each time you send a new message, asking questions in individual messages would use up your limits faster than a single message. So just making sure, right? So these are reasons to have Pro. Don't reload files. Claude sees the entire text from your conversation. So don't need to upload the same file multiple times unless you start a new conversation. Cool. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. Like nowhere in this entire article right here where we're talking about what Claude Pro does for you, does it say that the content itself can write better than the previous version? Leave a comment below if you believe, or if you're already a pro user and you're seeing that there's a clear difference in the quality of content, but nowhere have they claimed, like similar to ChatGPT, where there's a clear difference in quality between ChatGPT 3.5 and 4. Claude is a little bit different. You're mostly paying for the access to the software for not running out, to be able to use the software more full time for your needs, and to for those usage limits where you can have really long documents and continue to prompt it, and it's going to read longer amounts of text and so forth. Those are going to be the reasons to pick up Claude Pro. I'm not seeing a reason to pick up Claude Pro for sheer quality, the quality getting better, right? So hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to end the video right there. This is going on long, but that's my analysis of just what Claude Pro offers. For the right people, it's definitely going to be there. And I think that people that use this and they use it enough, and it's only going to take a few times for you to be locked out of your account, or for you to get those warning signs where you've only wrote a couple articles and then you're already getting the usage warnings. You're probably going to have to pay for the software. I don't know what those limits are. I don't know what it's like, but I'm not ready to pay for it because I don't use Claude enough to warrant paying for it right now. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully this helps you make a buying decision on Claude Pro. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, I just wanted to end with this because I wanted to make sure that I mentioned the pricing. So the pricing is $20 a month. But make sure that, and then one other reason that you might want to consider and I don't have any affiliate links, I don't have an affiliate program or anything like that, but one reason that you might want to consider this is that there's early access. So you get priority access during high periods. That's going to be a winner. You're going to get, longer usage. And then right here, early access to new features. That's probably important because as they add more new features, whatever you're seeing right now in Claude, that's probably going to stay that way. They're obviously going to try to make Pro even better and better as the months go on. They're probably going to introduce some type of plugins features or better interface or search features, or, who knows what they're going to do, but early access to new features. Well, I guess early access to new features means that some of those features might be released to everybody and the free version as well, while others may stay in Pro, but you will get access to some of this tech. The free users get it, right? So it's $20 a month. Earlier, I had heard that it's going to be $50 a month, but I'm glad that they stayed competitive and they stayed at $20 a month. That was smart of them to compete with ChatGPT. So thank you.